find out all the latest news. Let's go Rangers.
Blueshirt Underground, motherfucker!
Can't be as a Ranger fan. Can't be as a Ranger fan.
This is an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, remember what's the critical thinking hanger. Ranger fans, remember what's the critical thinking hanger.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York Rangers.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Blueshirt Underground Show. Today is Tuesday, October 19th. I am as excited could be. My name is Jim, and as always, I'm joined on the other side of the window by the one and only Eddie Geik. Eddie, good evening. He's got his to-go cup. He is ready. How are you, sir?
This is such an old cup. I am sure that this cup is so toxic.
Much like the Rangers.
Yes, like the organization. So toxic.
Just living with an old cup.
Yes. From Iron Man 2. Which was not such a good Iron Man.
Not as good as the first one, better than the third one.
Yes.
The third one was embarrassingly bad.
The third one was not good, and I'm going to tell you why before we get into the Ranger toxicity. In the first and second movie, a lot of heavy metal, like AC/DC. The third one, they took all that music away, and they made them kind of like a little too soft. All right, let's talk about the New York Rangers.
Needed more toughness.
They needed more toughness in that movie.
Right.
Oh, we got plenty of it. Let's start off with game one. And I'm gonna hop right into it.
Go ahead.
Explain to me why we got Ryan Reeves. Didn't we get this guy to fight Tom Wilson? And this is, I'm not even talking about Ryan Reeves' play and the whole bit, but this really was a burr in my saddle, so to speak, that we get this guy to beat the shit out of Tom Wilson. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't fight him. He's asking Ovechkin about his summer. I mean, I thought this guy was the beast. He was the guy that was going to take it all. And he did nothing. It's just like what Sean Avery said. And I know Sean Avery's a whack. Promises made, promises not delivered. I mean, it was a joke. And the Rangers, I'm not going to go over the game. You know, maybe we will, maybe we won't. Usually let Jim guide us. And then the Rangers got embarrassed, taking too many penalties, not covering Ovechkin, scoring in the same places over and over again. And the Rangers lost embarrassingly 5-1.
You know,
same old shit.
The formula for beating the Capitals has not changed in 13 years. Stay out of the box, stay out of the box, stay out of the box. And they just don't do it. Every time they take, I mean, I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, but I think the Caps scored 2 or 3 power play goals. They will kill you on the power play. And Alex Ovechkin has been standing in that same spot his entire career. Nobody covers him. And it's not just the Rangers. Watch other teams. They don't cover him either. Nobody covers him.
Nobody covers him.
He stands out there waiting for that stupid shot, and he always gets it, and he always scores.
Well, it is a
and
stupid
he's only scored
shot.
one goal since. He had his feast against the Rangers, and he has one goal since that game.
It's like when they used to have Jan Eriksson shadow Mario Lemieux. He would get like 5 goals.
Right.
Now, Chris the Meat, I kind of prefaced my criticism of Reeves that I'm not talking about his play overall. I'm talking about the Washington game, where this much anticipated, we have to move heaven and earth to get back at Tom Wilson, and nothing. You've got to take him on in that position. And while we're on the Washington game, let's talk about it.
Didn't you feel like a statement had to be made?
Yeah, they fired everybody.
The man reshaped the Ranger organization, and we do nothing. We did nothing.
It was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment. Once again, the Rangers look limp, are limp, and will always be limp under James Dolan and whatever lackeys he can find and Glenn Sather could find.
As flaccid as a junkie at times.
Yes, exactly. And then, what the fuck is Gallant doing starting Georgiev?
Thank you, Mike.
Is he out of his mind?
Both teams were warned by the NHL about the rough stuff. Who cares?
Who cares?
Go get them anyway.
Look at what could they do to us? Fine us?
What are they gonna do? Kick the Rangers
We
out
got
of the league?
more money than anybody, you would think. And then I was not happy that Gallant started Georgiev. Way to instill confidence in the guy he just signed to a $6 million contract.
This is the greatest comment we've ever had on this show. Dr. B.
Nice.
Watching the show while I'm seeing patients. That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Dr. Kill Patient.
Dr. Kill Patient. I picture Dr. B sitting there like Bob Newhart with Mr. Carlin on his couch.
Yes.
And he's watching the Blue Shirt Underground.
We're going to get to the hitting madness, guys. I'm not done. I'm right on the Washington game right now.
They're all over you, boy.
They want me to go crazy over hits.
The fans are.
Reeves has played well. He's 34 years old. I don't know how long that's going to last. You can't be hitting like that all the time. Let's wait and see. So far, so good with that. But I'm talking about the fucking Washington game, which annoyed me right off the bat. And while we're at it, why don't we just say, hey, we're tied for first place. Everything is great in the Rangers organization. Is that what you want me to say? No, I'm not going to say it.
Well, actually, they're in second place.
I thought the last stats I looked, they were in first place.
Pittsburgh's 2-0.
Oh. Don't we have more points than that?
They both have 5 points.
Well, 5 points.
Well, Pittsburgh has a higher winning percentage. That puts them in first place.
Oh, here we go. I got to battle with the fucking audience. I got to battle with you now. Everything's going to be.
I'm not battling.
It's
I'm
like
not battling with you.
I got to get an inch. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I would never battle with you.
I know. I'm playing around, but I got to get my frustration out on that stupid
Ranger Pete. What's going on? Welcome, sir.
And the way Gallant handles these goalies with the mystery envelope to who's starting, and he gets a little chuckle from doing it.
He's Karnak the Magnificent.
Oh, he smiles. Oh, you're not going to get that from me. Okay. So, any more thoughts on the Washington game? The Tom Wilson, nothing happening.
Why? Well, I guess, look, I thought they came out okay in that game and then just completely fell apart. But
yes,
why was Georgiev starting in goal opening night?
It doesn't make any sense.
You can't. I mean, Igor Shesterkin is 25, 26 years old. This guy can't play back-to-back nights.
I thought
he couldn't play 2 nights in a row.
They're probably
being off for 6 months with a 50-game season last year that he didn't even play all of. This guy can't play on a Thursday and a Friday or a Tuesday and a Wednesday, whatever the hell it was.
I mean, they probably would have lost with Shesterkin. It just bugs me. Like, you got to play the goalie of the future. Georgiev is not the chef of the future.
Right.
He he's mediocre at best. Okay. Chris the Meat, why don't you just marry Gerard Gallant? All right? You're just ridiculous. Okay. So, God forbid you disagree with me. In game one, I go crazy.
You.
I turn on the best friends of this broadcast.
Right. Eddie's turned heel.
No, I'm not turning heel. I just want. I got to call out the nonsense, and I'm going to call out the goodness. And I believe in these first couple of games, Kako was killing penalties. That was that was not working out. Anyway, anybody else got something to add? Some to Lord Gerard Gallant in that Capitals game?
Got nothing.
Okay. Now let's go to we'll get into all the stuff. I want to do a quick recap. I don't know where I'm going, but the next game up is Dallas.
Dallas.
Who stinks, by the way. They stink. Dallas stinks.
Right.
Well, first couple of games. I mean, I don't know. This team is not very bad. Oh, forget about faceoffs, Paul. We'll
get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Come on. I'm going to have a pulmonary embolism if we talk about the faceoff. So I have to calm down. You got, and I know it's Ed going crazy again. I'm sorry. I'm Mr. Emotional.
Well, we are 1/20th through the season already. It gets late early, as Yogi Berra used to say. We are 1/20th of the way through the season.
But you want to talk about the TNT presentation? I guess while we're on Washington.
Want to go back to that? Sure.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Cody Bondra, he's a contributor now. So,
yes, Cody Bondra is going to be joining us in about a half hour to talk Wolfpack. We have finally procured after 10 years of recovering from Mitch Beck. Yeah. We are finally dipping our toe back into the Wolfpack water.
Yes, and Cody's got press credentials and the whole thing.
Yes, he does.
So anyway, TNT
broadcast.
You talk about the TNT, and then I'll go.
Loved it. Loved the TNT presentation. Thought the pregame show was great. Thought it was fun. They were having a good time. I don't mind Charles Barkley as much as other people do. So I thought he was funny. I thought Gretzky was a lot less. He was a lot more. It's the word I'm looking for. Casual than I thought he would be. Gretzky tends to be a little stoic at times, unless he's had a few. Well, which we know full well. We've seen it. We experienced it right here on this show. When the man's had a few, he's very engaging. Loose. He's funny. He's loose. I thought the pregame show was good. I really didn't have a problem. I could probably do it a little less of what's the guy's name?
Paul Bissonnette.
Paul Bissonnette. I could probably do it a little less of him. But
I don't know why I don't like that guy.
Because he's another fourth line mucker trying to make a career.
He's Mr. Comedy. I mean, you got too much comedy going on. And I love comedy.
Right.
Barkley doing the shtick with Gretzky was good. I like that they actually made the Rangers out to be almost like a playoff team when they're talking about breaking down the game. And
they almost made the Rangers seem like a real NHL team.
Yeah, it was great. The atmosphere was good. Now, I mean, we could talk about Gretzky's fucking dye job on his hair. I mean, it looked like fucking Giuliani's. I mean, I'm waiting for it to run.
What can I tell you? The man's
Ryan, why are you talking? Hank wasn't on that broadcast. Ryan, why are you jumping ahead?
You're stealing the thunder.
You're stealing the thunder. We got Jim, talk to these people. I'm very frustrated right
now. These are your people. Get out there and talk to them. We'll get to Hank.
We're going nowhere.
I thought the broadcast was good. I thought the pregame show was good. one little nitpicky thing. You're going to put Gretzky up. You're going to put Gretzky in a box on TV. You're going to have him talk. Somebody's got to tell him, Silencio, there's been a goal scored. The guy's talking, 2 goals get scored, and he's just he's just going on and on and on. Can't hear a word he's saying. It kind of takes away from what's going on the ice. You know, I'm all for it. Let's, you know, I can't get enough Gretzky. Tell me stories, whatever you want to do. But we got to pick the spots better for that. I love the power play clock on the ice. I like that. I like the fact that their graphic was very minimal, just up in the corner. I like the fact that they didn't bog us down with a bunch of bullshit stats all the time. And of course, you know, Kenny and Edzo have worked together for, you know, off and on for quite a few years, so they're experienced. Keith Jones is okay. He's not my favorite, but he's okay. And and no Doc. I mean, what more could I ask for as a hockey fan? There was nothing more I could ask for from a presentation. Nothing more. Loved it. Put the Rangers on TNT every night.
I mean, I love Wayne Gretzky, but don't fuck with my Ranger game. When 2 goals are scored, I'm like yelling, get this fucking jinx off the fucking TV. This is how quickly I turned on Wayne Gretzky.
We've been mushed.
I'm like, get him off. Get him. I'm screaming, get him off. Like I have the producer's ear at this point. Get him. And they're scoring and nothing. He's still going on about whatever he was going on.
You're sitting home screaming at Wayne Gretzky on the TV. This is what it's come to.
That's all I do. I realize the other day I have a pretty good inner dialogue. Like, I don't say things out loud like, well, I think I'm going to go to True Value Hardware store, honey. Or I just say, well, after True Value, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a soda. And then I never discuss what the hell I'm doing. Some people have to let you know about everything they're doing. But when I watch a hockey game, there is no inner dialogue. It all comes out of my mouth watching the Rangers. You fucking idiot. I don't care. I don't care. I must say I don't care when Sam says something 30 times a game. I'm such a lunatic. Why? Okay. So, I liked how they treated it very seriously and not kind of just a fucking, like NBC could care less, that broadcast. They had like a desk and 3 guys sitting at the desk and nothing. This is a huge, almost like an NFL Today or NFL without CBS or whatever they fucking do now.
But they put a lot of focus on being entertaining.
Now,
NBC, there was nothing entertaining about their broadcasts.
No. Well, let me ask you this, and the fans at home who I love. Is this going to be a one-time thing for the opening game, or is this going to be like every game?
I think this is every game that's on TNT. They're going to have,
Barkley,
I mean, maybe not Charles Barkley, but
is that how they're going to treat it?
I don't know. Guess we'll see.
With Biz Nasty
I believe that's their studio team, and ESPN has Mess, right? They have Messy.
I haven't seen the ESPN broadcast.
And I know Linda Cohen's been between the benches for games. She's doing that.
Oh, very good.
Which was something, that was one thing I was a little surprised about on the TNT broadcast. A lot of testosterone.
Oh, they didn't defer to the women?
No women folk.
Wow. I don't know. Usually I don't listen. That's also another thing with Hank going to Ryan thing. I haven't watched much of Hank because I don't watch the in between periods. It's useless to me. So I don't need these people to tell me what I just saw. I don't know.
Well, as long as we're talking broadcast, and since you brought it up and they brought it up in the chat room, I have seen Hank has done 2 nights with the MSG studio, pregame and in between periods. And I will say that he is terrific. He's really, really good. Really. And
good. I heard from our guy that Sean McCaff saying that Valaket keeps trying to be like, he's like reciting his stats next to Henrik, and it's laughable.
Well, I said that last night in our group chat, when after after Mika Zibanejad scored in the first period, and Hank was telling a story about a game that Mika Zibanejad scored, something about, I forget what the story was about, but I'm like, okay, so Hank's got this great story about Mika Zibanejad, and now Steve Valiquette will counter with a compelling Chris McAllister story.
That's good.
Hank is. I was very, very
What's
surprised.
so good about him? Like I said,
He's
what do you
very
like
insightful. He's very insightful. He's
okay.
He takes this very seriously. He's not just there to be Hank. You know, he's not there to be Baba Shampoo. He's very, very insightful. You know, he's sitting there in his finely tailored suit while Valiquette's sitting there in a TJ Maxx suit. And he's he's really good. Very interesting to listen to.
I'll have to partake in a.
It's too bad he's only doing like 20 games.
He's just doing maybe half the home games or something.
Yeah, I think it's only 20 games, but he's already done 2. So,
all right, not bad. Just going back to the other, I like the time on the ice at the TNT broadcast. I enjoyed that. It wasn't necessary, but I grew to like it. The every problem with the camera angles is always like that one camera angle that bothers everybody, like the one behind the net on the power play.
No, I didn't have a problem with the camera angles, and I like the power play clock on the ice because then you're not, you know, it's always right in the middle of the action instead of having to glance up at the top of the screen to see how much of the power play the Rangers have wasted. Or how much longer do I have to watch this barrage of shots on our goaltender?
Oh my Lord. I mean, it's anyway. Yeah, so we got the broadcast out of the way. There was something I wanted to ask about
well, we were still talking about the Dallas game.
Yeah, well, the Dallas, I wouldn't say they stink, but they were not ready to play this game. They were tired. They look slow out of the gate, and the Rangers just were impotent.
I thought the second period they played in that Dallas game was maybe the best period they've played so far in the 4 games, though. They dominated the second period the other
game. Yes, I do remember that they had like 19 shots or something.
I think you're right. I think it was 19.
But
which made it all the more disappointing that they couldn't score again in the third, and then they lost in overtime.
Oh, my God, I tell you. And then I don't know what games people are watching here. People are playing Trouba. I know you want to whip them.
Right.
I know you got the riding crop out. You want to boom, boom, boom. You stink. You stink. You're overpaid.
It's the agendas, Eddie.
Your agendas. But that was Artemi Panarin's problem. That was his fault. He made a dumb pass.
Well, he tried to go into traffic, which he did again last night.
Right.
And last night he got away with it. But he did the same thing where he was coming in on the wing and tried to cut to the middle in overtime. And I'm like, have we learned nothing?
Have we learned nothing?
Have we learned nothing? But no, we're Rangers. We learned nothing. But it worked. It didn't bite him in the ass.
Right. I mean, they got away with a point. I wasn't happy with it. They should have beaten them. Going back to the beginning of that game, it's Roger Bear night, right? The Roger Bear, what do they call it? I don't know, Memorial game or whatever.
Mr. Ranger night.
Mr. Ranger night, right? And Rosen's lying. Rosen, I'm sorry. Please.
You don't have to apologize.
No, because I might be wrong on this, but a couple people at the game, and I'll get to that one first. The first one he's saying in front of a packed house. In front of a packed house. Now, each seat, draped over each seat at the Garden, was a 7 T-shirt.
Yes.
So it made the empty seats even more visible than usual. You didn't have to look as hard.
Right.
It was, I'm not saying it was empty, but it certainly wasn't a packed house.
Well, my sources that were at the game reported back to me that the upper bowl was pretty full.
Okay.
And it was the lower bowl that was empty, which did bear out on TV. I mean, that's what you're looking at, and that's where those seats were, seats behind the Rangers bench, seats at both ends of the ice. Oh yeah, lots of those 7 shirts just hanging.
Is that
Apparently,
apparently
the ushers were guarding those shirts, boy, because they're going to sell them on eBay.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't let the fans grab any extra shirts. Oh, those those
yeah.
ushers are making a
God
killing
forbid
on
we
those
give
shirts.
the fans anything
Oh,
for free.
right.
Yeah. Dumbasses. And then this is the one.
John Newman is here.
John, how are you?
Good to see you, John. Hope you're doing well.
And then we got Ryan Reeves. He tells me that Ryan Reeves got a tremendous amount of applause when he came out, when he was introduced. I did not hear that. However, a couple of people at the game said he really did get. I don't know what kind of microphone they were using for the broadcast, but I didn't hear it. And why would you applaud that guy? He did fucking nothing against Tom Wilson, you morons.
He did get a nice ovation. Whether or not it was I don't think it was all that noteworthy, but that's Sam. He's got to sell the MSG product. He's got to,
Stop lying, Sam.
That's what it's all about. It's just one advertisement to the next, whether it's a player or a product.
Dude, you talk about advertising. If I got to see one more fucking FanDuel or MGM Grand betting commercial, I'm going to lose my mind. That JB Smooth or whatever his name, Smooth, and fucking Patton Oswalt commercial, it's driving me nuts. It's worse than looking at doilies.
I don't begrudge anybody their money, their gambling. You want to gamble? Go ahead and gamble. Go ahead. I
gamble all the time.
Right. I don't. You got the dough. Go gamble. I wish you $1 million. I don't do a lot of gambling because I don't like to lose money, so I don't gamble a lot. But they really are just breeding a generation of degenerate gamblers, and there's commercials where they say that, I guess your first bet, your first $1,000 is free, no risk. Isn't that exactly what a drug dealer tells a kid? Isn't that the same thing? The first one's free.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I mean, that's how.
Cutter, I'd rather have a paint company on my helmet than fucking TikTok like the goddamn Toronto Maple Leafs. I hope they don't win another cup for another 54 years just because of that.
Yeah, and I agree with Chris DeMeat on this one. That guy painting the fucking sneakers.
Now
here's fucking off the air.
Here's what's weird about that commercial is that last night was the first time I've actually seen that commercial. I've seen people talking about it, but I watch the games on MSG Go, and the commercial that they show, for whatever reason on MSG Go, they show it over and over. Like they'll go to a commercial break and show it 4 times. The girl that needs the kidney. Have you seen that one? Have you seen that commercial?
No, I haven't seen this commercial.
It's a commercial for some girl needs a kidney. And it's just, I don't know if it's for a hospital.
Center iceman who can win a face-off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, and they just show this commercial over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden last night, I got like all different commercials. And I saw the guy painting the sneakers. And I'm like, what the hell kind of crap is this?
We're getting tortured.
Cares? Gives a shit.
Then I need the in-game odds of what's going to be over 5 goals.
Or the in-game odds. And the odds change when the Rangers are losing. No, really?
Really?
Oh.
It's taken over the broadcast. It's just everything is FanDuel, Sports Kings, fucking MGM. I mean,
John, it's a heartwarming commercial. I hope that the fake girl in the commercial gets her new kidney, but
did John Newman get a new kidney?
30, 40 times a night, John. John's
got something to be thankful. He's got it.
Right. John's got us to be thankful for.
Actually, he does. Because John, really, seriously, nobody would put up with your bullshit other than us.
Right. Don't forget where you were when you were on your way to your first date with your woman.
That's
Don't
right.
Forget where you were.
You owe us.
That's right. We gave you the confidence.
We gave you a fine woman. Did we? I don't even know. I just say shit. I don't know. So, also,
John, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're doing well.
We are. We're serious.
I hope your
Bet
kidney can handle all that
365.
alcohol.
That's right, Patty Duke. And don't think I didn't see your doily comment. Yes, Bet 365.
That's another
And
one. Right?
what's it? The guy from Breaking Bad is now doing commercials for this shit. Jamie Foxx, these actors, they can't find anything better. All right. So enough with that. God. All right. So I also wanted to mention, and maybe you can find this in the box, or Sam, look at it. They're high on this guy. He's a rookie. Well, guess what? He's getting to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I don't know who
First two
that
games.
Yep. The first two games. Welcome to the NHL. You score against the Rangers.
Right.
What were the guys' names again?
It was Pedersen for Dallas and hold on. I'll tell you in a second here.
And in that Dallas,
Hendricks Lapierre for the Capitals.
Oh God, kill me. Hendricks Lapierre. Oh. And then they lost John Klingberg, who's an important defenseman. They basically played with 5 defense. The Rangers should have came away with a victory. But
Right.
again, it was a gut stabber losing. And at home on Roger Bear, Mr. Ranger night. And these fucking fans, and I'm not talking about you guys. When I say fan, I don't mean you guys. Weren't you all thinking, will they get through this moment of silence without fucking saying anything?
Nope. 7 seconds. They couldn't keep their mouth shut. 7 seconds. Joe Tollison said, we will now observe a 7-second moment of silence. And those fucking degenerates couldn't keep their mouth shut for 7 seconds.
I would literally, I'm not a fighting man. I'm not a guy who would likes violence. I like my violence on TV. I would have said something afterwards or really fucking got in their faces. I mean, this is Mr. Ranger. This isn't like fucking, like you mentioned, Chris McAllister died. I mean, you know, come on.
Chris McAllister.
So, I mean, they couldn't keep it together for 7 seconds. This is why the whole league thinks we're a bunch of numbnuts.
Right.
We root for a numbnut franchise, and every New Yorker can't keep his mouth shut and show a little bit of dignity for 7 seconds.
Right. Look at me.
I think it was Drury was actually the one who screamed during that 7 seconds of silence. No, I'm just saying, please, if you go to the game, if you see something, say something. If you see something stupid by a fellow Ranger fan.
Cutter, it's a moment of silence. A minute. A minute? You realize how long a minute is to just stand there? 16,000 people just stand there and be quiet?
I was very disappointed.
Get out of here.
Very disappointed because I knew it was coming. I said, please. And they got through the first couple of seconds. I go, boy, we have matured. We have matured. We have Victor matured.
Right.
Nope. We brought it right back down to street level.
Oh, no.
They even gave you a shirt. You couldn't keep your mouth shut.
Right. Stick the shirt in your mouth for a minute.
We could have
fucking muzzle
gag 'em.
yourself. Right.
All right. Anything in the Dallas? Well, also just going back to the Capital game and the difference between the Capital game. Jared Tenorti. Why?
Stinks.
He is a piece of garbage. The one game evals are in.
Jared's
and thankfully, Chris Jonnett's new Scotty Bowman of the Rangers, Gallant, saw that atrocity and fucking made sure he sat for Niels Lundqvist, who have been hearing, he's not ready. He's adjusting, but I think he looked shaky in the Dallas game. It took a while. It's a big night. You're in MSG. He got his footing. He played decently. And I think he's played decent since. What do you guys think? Have you seen enough of Jared Tenorti?
Oh, God, yeah.
He made like 3 turnovers in 2
one
seconds.
shift.
Yeah, one shift.
One shift. They even commented on it on the broadcast.
You got to have that toughness.
Right.
He couldn't manage to fight Tom Wilson. All that grit they got. So those were all the bugaboos in the Dallas game. Anybody else want to chime in about Dallas? Nobody really cares. They lost. I hate. And then I was thinking to myself, do they ever win 3-on-3? I remember under Quinn, they never won on 3-on-3. And before another feathering Gerard Gallant's cap, although it happened it's in the second period of last night's game. I mean, Saturday's game. What was it, last night?
Last night was Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
Toronto.
How many times under David Quinn did before we even fucking sat down, there was a goal in the Rangers net?
Right. That
so far, they have avoided that.
So far,
we haven't gotten that quick goal. Oh, fuck. Dinner's ready. Ah, fuck. Just got scored on.
Right.
So we'll get to that too. So
yes.
So far,
we'll get into that when Cody gets here because he's got a little insight.
And Cody, please, I don't get the wrong impression from me. I curse. Actually, you know what I do.
Right.
I'm a professional, but I'm very emotional, and I'll turn on anybody. I just turned on this whole chat room a half hour ago.
Right.
And I love every one of you.
Johnny Prestano is in the chat room. What's going on, Johnny?
Yes.
Good to see you.
So it's great. Wonderful. So what do we got? It's 2-4. Okay, so you want to get into the Montreal game?
We could talk Montreal.
All right. Montreal, another game. I think they were coming into that game 0-3 or 0-2. Not scoring, not playing well. Then again, the Rangers don't typically play well in Montreal. Gallant gets it right. He starts Shesterkin. And, I mean, this is the coming out party. The much-awaited Alexis Lafreniere is now playing in Quebec. And I hate the Canadians. I hate their attitude. I hate their French-Canadian people are primarily stuck-up bastards, and they think their shit don't stink.
Entitled.
Very entitled.
Rum
Greshner is still alive and still I heard from him the other day. So everything's good with him.
He's still checking in.
Still waiting for the instigators
from family court.
Yes.
He's waiting for the instigators to come back to make his return.
By the way, just side note, if you don't know what the instigators is, it's a show we've mocked quite a lot on this show over the last 10, 11 years.
Right.
And we're waiting for their triumphant return, but apparently it's been stalled pre-production. But I have to let you know,
COVID related.
I had to create a fake Facebook account to join their Facebook page, so I wouldn't be outed.
I didn't know they had a new Facebook page.
Yeah, they have it's there. There's like 8 people in it. No, I think there's more than that. All right. So anyway, so I'm on there, but I'm anxiously awaiting for that Saturday or Sunday when the announcement comes. Okay. So we're up to the Canadian. Now, did you watch the Canadian game?
I did.
What the fuck? Is there a bug in here? I don't know. Anyway. Okay. So what did you think of that game?
I think it was the first period, if I remember correctly, they were a little overwhelmed, as they usually are in Montreal. I've always said that playing in Montreal is all about surviving the first 10 minutes. And
you're correct.
Hockey night in Canada. So it's a big night. The place is loud.
Yeah, they're jazzed. They're ready.
I wish our arena was that loud.
I mean, this is their sport. This is what they live for.
Right.
And I thought the Rangers did a good job of surviving exactly what you just talked about.
Right.
They killed off, I think, some power plays early. The Rangers.
Yep.
That took the crowd out of it. And Chris Kreider, let's give it up for him, man. He's got 3 goals this year, 2 on the power play. I know Patty Duke is all happy and cheering, and I don't blame him. I'm not rooting against Chris Kreider. Now, he didn't score last night,
Right.
so we may not see him for 15 games.
He hasn't scored in days.
He hasn't scored in days. So we'll go into the individual things, Coaster, and we'll, but we got a lot to cover tonight. A lot of ground. And
Kreider gives him the lead. Montreal ties it up, and then Lafreniere in front of his papa gets the winning goal. Was it 30 seconds after Drouin?
Was a big goal. It changed the whole momentum.
Right.
It was basically a reverse Ranger. They were announcing the Montreal goal, and Lafreniere scored. His father is hopping up and down. He's going nuts.
He's doing a rerun up in the skybox there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was doing a Fred Berry. He's going crazy. Now, was there some thing with the sister not really liking that Lafreniere was on the Rangers? Can I get a corroboration?
Is that true?
Is that can I get a corroboration of that, or did I just make that up because I didn't like her attitude?
Costa, get Lafreniere's sister on the phone. You've got her number.
Stop with the captain. I don't even want to talk about the captain. 6 assistant captains. Do not move.
Right.
Does anybody have any? Okay, well, I'll keep talking and just imagine that she has. Well, she's the only member of the family, I think, not wearing a Ranger jersey. She's wearing like some fucking sweater vest bullshit up there drinking her glass of wine like a typical French-Canadian snoot. Yeah, so I'm getting corroboration in here from, is this Stephen Vogel? Is there a different name? I don't know. Vogel?
Yeah, that's Steve Vogel.
All right. Stephen, thank you so much. Stat boy Stephen. This guy's like an international star. I'm watching him on that Wardy NHL show. This guy's international now.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He does live in Europe. He's international by default, isn't he?
Well, international. He's international by default, but an international star? I couldn't say. I mean, that means that he's not from where he lives, but he's recognized international.
Oh, okay. Well, so are we. We're on
a
doctor's office in the
Jim, every freaking thing I'm getting.
We're on in a doctor's office in the Philippines. Top that.
That's right. Yeah, she didn't have a Ranger jersey on. She's not. She's got a wine glass. Come on. The father's all good.
Right.
And the mother's all good. I mean, she's no Derek Stepan's mom, but still, you can't have everything.
Well, we still haven't gotten over that, have we?
I mean, she looked like Jane Hathaway from the fucking Beverly Hillbillies, his mom. But I don't care. I was glad for Lafreniere. Damn, he scored a nice goal. I'm very happy. I mean, he had a really good game, too.
He did.
And then Steve Rooney with the empty net. I couldn't believe it.
Kevin Rooney.
Kevin Rooney. I'm sorry. Why is it? I keep thinking of the Anaheim Ducks. Steve Rooney.
Kevin Rooney.
Kevin Rooney. From the red line. I thought he was going to miss.
Right.
This is a typical Ranger. You miss.
Right. And then we give up the goal the other way.
Right. No, he scores.
Right.
Rangers come out of the Bell Center. Is they still playing at the Bell Center, or is it something now? They change names every week in this.
It is still the Bell Center, I believe.
You sure it's not the Bet365.com arena?
No, that's Madison Square Garden now.
Oh, yes. Now that's the Benjamin Moore shithole. I got a lot of venom. This team has got.
I see that.
Nah,
we're a half game out of first place, and you're full of piss and vinegar.
Well, you know, I have a lot of frustration watching these games. All right, so we'll stop it there and let's. I didn't even know what's going on with the Wolfpack. What's happening with the Wolfpack?
Should we find out?
Yeah, let's find out.
All right, let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we gave Cody his own intro music here. Yes, it is time. It is time to see what is going on with the Hartford Wolfpack, and making his debut appearance here on the Blueshirt Underground is the one and only Cody Bondra. Cody, Jim and Eddie with you on a Tuesday night. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the program. What's going
guys,
on?
Look
how dressed up he is, Eddie.
I like his style from the first.
I
one.
take the
like
Ron
his-
Duguay approach of the
like
Blue
the-
Shirt Underground show.
I like
Yes.
that. Very professional.
Well, thanks guys so much for having me on.
Should I go put a
Congratulations on the 10 years
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
and the 10,000 streams. Honored to be a small part of it. But yeah, so we picked a good time. You know, nothing going on in the hockey world at all that revolves around the Wolfpack or anything Ranger organization-wise that evolves around the Wolfpack, except the little Kravtsov incident. So that seems to be the talk of the town, let alone the organization right now.
Well, it's certainly a hot button issue with the fans. The fans have taken sides. You're either team management or team Drury. I'm on neither side. I said last week, I think they're both wrong. Although today, I think after what I read today in the Athletic, I think the organization's a little more wrong than Kravtsov.
Right, and that headline was misleading. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, which I think it's funny because it seems like now more of the fan base is skewing in management's direction, and I think I'm skewing more towards the player now.
Well, it just seems to be a recurring issue because obviously it happened to Anderson, and then we had to let him go for a second-round pick. And if he's on the trading block right now, which you assume he is, the teams that have multiple second-round picks are are the Red Wings, the Senators, and the Flames, and the Coyotes. So if that's what they're looking to get, and it's odd that the Rangers would request a top 6 talent in return for him when they said he can't even make the opening night roster. So I see both sides of it.
Right.
We've been talking in the Facebook group this week, a lot of people with different opinions about what's going on and whose side to take. On the outside looking in, anybody with a normal job would say, yeah, just go to Hartford for a week or two or a month and own your craft and come back up. The man's a professional athlete. He's gone through this street with the Rangers before. He's been sent down. And I posted his stats in the group late last week, and people reacted to it. And yeah, he's a different player than he was back then. He's obviously gotten better. And I think if you look at the Rangers' offensive struggles, it's hard to make a case why he shouldn't be there. He's back in Russia right now. He's not playing with Hartford. They've threatened to suspend him. They've given him permission to talk with other teams. And we'll see what happens from here. But I would be very upset, as I'm sure the whole fan base would be, if we had to let him go for another second-round draft pick down the line from another team.
Yeah. Now, I've heard, maybe somebody can corroborate this. Did Gerard Gallant reach out to him and say, basically, come back, play in Hartford, and you might get a call up? Was that something that actually happened, Jim?
There's been different. So just talking, and I have some friends within the organization, nothing too, black ops that isn't known, but they have reached out to him, or his agent specifically, I think. I know he is back in Russia right now. That article from The Athletic that we did talk about, that headline is from 2 years ago with Drury allegedly saying that he quit on the team. That's a tough thing to take. I know, Jim, I think it was you that said if he did say that, that's a tough thing to say to a player, especially in front of other players or in front of anyone that could quote it to The Athletic. But he has not returned to Hartford. He is not back in the States, to everyone's knowledge. He is in Russia. But I believe Gallant did reach out and say something along the lines of, with Capo going out, he would have been the next man up, the next man tapped on the shoulder. Now, you guys did get Morgan Barron, not to deter from the Kravtsov talk completely, but Morgan Barron's a heck of a hockey player. I got the chance to watch him live on Saturday night in Springfield. He had 2 goals in the first 2 games of the season, and he was a spitfire running around the ice. He was great in the power play. He was great energy-wise. He got a penalty in the third period that should have been offsetting from what it looked like. He did take a roughing penalty, and then unfortunately the Thunderbirds scored on that ensuing power play, which ended up winning the game for them. But Morgan Barron's a young player. If the Rangers can get him in the lineup against Nashville, I think he'll have a lot to offer. They're not back to back with the last 2 games of this road trip, are they? They have a day off between.
We haven't even looked
I
at
know
that.
they play
Thursday and probably Saturday.
I think.
Yeah, so
I
they
think
do have a
Thanksgiving
day off.
Saturday,
So
Saturday.
we'll see what happens. But Morgan
Yes,
Barron
actually,
is.
I know Saturday. I think they go right back to Canada. I think they're in Ottawa on Saturday.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are in Ottawa, so that would be. But Morgan Barron's a good hockey player. I hope he gets dressed. I hope he gets into the lineup. Talking back, not to deter too far from the Wolfpack, but the Ryan Reeves thing against Washington, it's a tough pill to swallow for Rangers fans because, like you said, it essentially the Tom Wilson incident broke up the organization to a certain extent, where it did cost people their jobs, and the Rangers wanted to make this big point of them loading up the artillery. And look, I don't think anybody out there wants to see Wilson, nobody wants him paralyzed or decapitated or anything like that. But when is when is sticking up for your teammate though? I mean, you can't even get into a scrum with him. I mean, nothing happened and you guys got walked all over on opening night. So that's a very tough pill to swallow. So my favorite Rangers of all time are Sean Avery and Colton Orr. So I'm from the fan base of something's got to happen. And I'll admit this, I did go through a dark period in high school where I might have rooted for the Bruins only because I didn't get MSG in my house. I only had Nesson, so the Bruins were the only teams. And I remember after the Savard Matt Cook incident, Sean Thornton was the only one that did anything the next time they played the Penguins. And that's just watching it, you want to believe that a team's a team and that they have each other's back. It's just a tough thing when nobody even, pushed him after a whistle or anything, and Tom Wilson, skates on and does everything. But with Barclay Goodrow and Ryan Reeves and the fact that they loaded up this offseason, you'd like to see a little bit more energy and a little bit more physicality, especially out of the teams they're going to be playing this year. That's a tough division. You need to stand up for yourself, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully Morgan Barron can get in the lineup, and hopefully he can produce. Now, for the Wolfpack 2 years ago, he was a point-per-game player. He had 21 points in 21 games. I know he had a cup of coffee, I believe, last year with the Rangers, and he had 5 points in 8 games, I want to say, or something along the lines of that. But if he can catch on with that lineup, I think he's going to be a great acquisition, and we're sad to see him go in Hartford, but that's what happens. When he gets called up to the big club, we want to see him succeed.
Now, last year, the AHL was completely shut down. Like there were no games.
No. There was games. There was no fans. Teams had the option. Yeah, a little bit more than that, I believe. Teams had the options to not play. I believe Springfield took a year off, and it was just kind of it was almost like scrimmages, if you will. But yeah, people got some work in. I know a lot of the overseas guys stayed overseas. The Wolfpack, as a lot of AHL teams, have a lot of players that will go for a couple years and then just end up overseas. So we hope we didn't lose Kravtsov, obviously, right. But it's gonna be a thing. Now, as far as him getting assigned to Hartford, everybody that looked into the story, Gallant and management said it was for conditioning purposes. So you have to believe that at most he would have been there for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And if you look on the outside looking in, if you're impartial, you could say they send him down. He gets a lot of ice time, being most likely on the first line, if not on the second line, first power play unit, what have you, wherever in Hartford. He gets that work in. Now, a couple guys that this happened to that were big name guys that actually on the other side went down and then came back up. And I'm not comparing Kravtsov's skill or any of these guys' skills to each other. It's just a list of names that happened to Cheadle. Sean Avery back in the day got sent back down to the Connecticut Whale and then got sent back up. He worked, and he was already an established veteran. And then one of my guys who, take him for what he is, but he was a good hockey player, I thought, when he wanted to be, was Tanner Glass. Tanner Glass was on the Rangers. He got sent down for Hartford for, I believe, almost a season and a half, but he worked and got his way back up. So you can look at it as immaturity on Kravtsov's part a little bit, but we don't know what the organization promised, what they talked to him about when he was drafted, and any of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Now, if that comment that Drury made to him allegedly 2 years ago is any indication of the relationship that he did have with the Rangers, you could pick a side here, and you would have an argument for both sides as to who's right and who's wrong. But at the end of the day, as fans, it looks like we're probably going to lose again. And if he goes to Seattle and becomes a 40-goal scorer, I'm going to come to the next watch party and just bash myself over the head with a bat. So,
I mean, I don't know how, it was a lot of, hearsay and stuff like that. But if that article is even remotely true, it just sounds like Drury just comes off as a spiteful guy who's got a hard-on for Kravtsov.
Yeah,
I think it's worse than that.
Well, I don't know.
I think that if Kravtsov was from BU and not a Russian, he would have been up with the Rangers. I feel
Entirely
like there is.
possible.
I mean,
Just making a point. Morgan Barron attended Cornell University. played
right.
hockey there.
Elias Anderson,
So-
same thing. A Swedish kid. There's some kind of disconnect going on there, and it's all about expectations. I think they don't make it clear their expectations to the player. There's something literally lost in translation.
There's definitely a behind the scenes aspect to it, and I think it's one of those things where we'll never know the whole story. I was at the game, should I say, in Springfield on Saturday night, and media's still a little bit locked down. The post-game press conferences are all on Skype. I did want to talk to Coach Knobloch about that, and I wanted to talk to Coach Knobloch about Barron's performance and whether he liked the intensity throughout the game of him, or whether he thought the roughing penalty at the end of the game was a little bit much. And I don't mean to dwell on him. I just think that I think any Ranger fan that has the opportunity to watch Morgan play, I think you're going to be in for a treat, and I think he'll be a good hockey player if he can find a spot to catch on there. But yeah, it's looking like could be another Elias Anderson thing. Now, Capo is only out for 7 days as of now, correct?
He was put on IR. I don't know how
which
long.
means he can't be. He has to be there for 7 days.
Right. So I think the Rangers have 3 games in the next 7 calendar days, correct?
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I really don't know what happens as far as the lineup goes. I don't think you touch those first 2 lines on the Rangers, but I know if you wanted to shake things up a bit, I know Barron plays center, so you could drop McKegg and start Barron. As far as, I don't know, maybe moving Dryden Hunt over or something. I'm not the biggest fan of Ryan Reeves right now. I know that he's a good hockey player and it's a new team and he'll catch on, but I'd just like to see a little bit more out of him, especially for what they're paying for him in the offseason. But we'll see what happens.
Just turning back to the Wolfpack, did anybody stand out other than Morgan Barron in that game? How did Zach Jones play?
Zach Jones was solid. A guy that I know that the Rangers don't need to look at right now, but Adam Huska played really well in goal. I think he stopped. He let up 2 goals. No, excuse me, 3 goals. And then, Jones played well. The whole team played well. They had won the night before and they won Sunday, so they came out of the weekend 2-1.
Well, not bad, not bad.
No, not bad at all. There's a buzz going on in Hartford as far as the Wolfpack go, and that might sound comical to some of the people, but Hartford's a good team, and we just have a bit of an identity crisis. People are still holding on to the Whalers, and it's a shame because the Wolfpack's great hockey, and we have a lot of guys that graduate up to the big club and make a run there. But no, Jones played well. That whole line with Barron played really well, and I didn't catch on a lot of
Barron. Who's on the line with Barron?
It's I have it pulled up, so it's.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. I did some research. I think they rotated a wing, but Brodzinski was on him, and he's also on the power play. So Johnny Brodzinski, who's the
great Johnny Brodzinski.
Yeah,
sounds like a name from the '60s.
Right.
And then Gettinger was up. I think he rotated between 2 of the lines. I don't know if somebody exited with an injury at one point, but Gettinger was another one. Him and Barron were the only ones that really showed any physicality in that game. I know the younger guys coming up, it's a lot different game than it even was 2 to 5 years ago. There's not a whole lot of hitting going on. A lot of it's more end-to-end with poke checking, a lot of stick infractions. But no, Gettinger played all right. Brodzinski played really well. And I'm trying to think who else. Nobody really stood out. I have my notes on my laptop, unfortunately. I'm on my desktop right now. But they're on the road this weekend, Jim. They're coming down by you, and then they'll be home the weekend of Halloween, and I'll be in attendance for 2 of those games, and I'll have some more info for you guys. But we'll see how it shakes up. We'll see how everything goes. I know with Kravtsov, it's just you'd like to see the work ethic of, sure, I'll go down and then come back up and just prove everybody wrong. But it is a talking point that he's refusing to go and that he's staying. Now, I know the Rangers mentioned they might suspend him. I don't know how that would work because he can go to the KHL, correct?
I don't know. That's a question for Steven Vogel.
Yeah, I'm not sure how his
stat boy Steven.
Because I know he had an escape. They call it an escape clause in 2019. But people forget too, when he went back to the KHL a couple years ago, he got dropped to their junior varsity or AHL, so to speak. So he's shown inconsistencies in his game. And again, I'm impartial. I just want to see the story develops. Right. But I could definitely see how you could look at this either way and say the organization's right or he's right or vice versa. But I do hope that he sticks around because that would be tough to lose another high draft pick
Yes.
like that.
Number 9
Zach Jones,
overall.
by the way, Eddie turned 21 yesterday, and in my opinion, he should be up with the team
Who is he
replacing
replacing?
instead of Keandre Miller.
Oh, Keandre Miller's fine.
Oh, stop it! He stinks.
Oh, come on.
Overrated. Overrated.
Please.
Overrated.
All right. Well, we'll figure this out.
Now,
Cody,
what do you
Now,
guys?
let me ask you
what do
something. As a guy who lives in Hartford and follows the Wolfpack religiously, have they gotten over the loss of Vinny Lettieri yet? Because I know I have not.
There's been a couple guys that have been here for a while that it's weird. Hartford, if you look at, so the first thing is we play in the XL Center, which is the old Hartford Civic Center, and it's ungodly massive for minor league hockey. It's at 17,000 people. So unless you're putting a minimum of 10,000 people in there, it looks empty. So if you're watching games,
that's where the Whalers played, right?
that's where the Whalers play, where UConn plays. It used to be a mall. I worked there.
It was in a mall.
Yeah, I used to work there a couple years ago, which is where I got to meet Tanner Glass and some of the guys. Boo Nieves was always hanging around, good guy.
Boo.
And Boo, yeah, and I was there when Huska got his first start. After he came out when UConn finished their season, but no. Like I said, there's an identity crisis because you do have a lot of diehard fans because it's great hockey. And, the Wolfpack have been here since I was 5 years old. It's 1997. So that was my team growing up. I remember going to Whalers games. I remember my dad bought me tickets when the Ducks came to town and they would lift me up like Simba every time that they scored. But the Wolfpack is, it's good hockey, and there's a good season ticket holder portion that follows the team, and they do great things where they organize trips to New York, and they're excited to see guys, get called up and everything. But there's still a lot of people that hold on to the Whalers and, are living in that past, so to speak. And it's a great history, but if we are not careful and we don't come out and support the pack, HL teams move a lot. I know it happened to Lowell moved, there's a bunch of others. They shift around so often. But I know one of my, I'm trying to remember. There's a Russian guy that was on the team when I worked for them in 2016. He was a high draft pick, and I think he had like 3 points in the season. And he went back. I'm blanking on his name right now. It was in my notes, but there's a lot of guys that come and go. And I remember Chris Brown, who I had good expectations for. I know he got called up with Boo for a couple of games, but he's overseas now. And probably my favorite was Johnny Gilmore.
Oh, we just talked about him the other night.
But no, John Gilmore was one of the nicest. What'd you say?
I love John Gilmore.
Oh, I thought somebody said F. John Gilmore. I was like, how do you?
No.
John Gilmore is one of the nicest human beings to ever exist. Watching him when he did get a call up to the Rangers and see, what he could do. And he's another guy that unfortunately he's overseas. Well, not unfortunately, but he's overseas now. But they had some good prospects, and they still do. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how many guys stick around and what happens. Hartford's not exactly I could see why Kravtsov wouldn't want to come down to Hartford. But that's his assignment.
Hartford's beautiful this time of year.
Hey, I work downtown. I walk by the XL Center every day. I'm excited to be back in the building. It was one of those things where we missed it when it was gone. Just like watching the Ranger games on TV, seeing all those empty seats. It was like watching an Arizona Coyotes game every night. But we'll see what happens. Although Kessel is on the trading block too, so Arizona is one of those teams that has multiple second round draft picks. So the Rangers maybe.
I don't think he's good on face. All right, Cody. Thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate it. That's your update.
Cody, I sent you.
Got some question.
Cody, I sent you a link to our Vinny Lettieri tribute video.
I'll be sure to pass it around to the Wolfpack groups.
You'll have to watch it.
Cody,
I just have one. I have one more question before we let you go. I'd actually like to know, how did you wind up getting credentialed by the Wolfpack? I mean, the Rangers organization hands out credentials like fucking manhole covers. So how did you get one?
So it's one part, or so I should say it's 5% me and 95% you guys. So I had worked at the XL Center. I did security there.
If you mentioned our name, there's no way you're getting credentialed.
No, so dig this. Honest to God. So, and I'm not just saying this, but when I had still had a couple connections, and I talked to them. I said, look, this is what I want to do. I'll put it to you in nice terms. The Wolfpack are in no position to turn down any sort of coverage. We get buried a lot between UConn basketball and other things going on. But like I said, it's great hockey. But no, and I'm not just saying this. Congratulations, guys, on you put out a show for 10 years. Your product's been going, it's been growing,
12.
and you have over 10,000. Oh, 12 at this
12
point.
years.
Oh, right,
Yep.
because 09, the 09 season was the first one.
Yep.
But to over 10,000 streams, I sent them the link to you guys and said, this is what I want to do. I want to cover the pack in an objective way. I want to give, Ranger fans get some excitement about them. And it's not even necessarily just it's 90% the Wolfpack, but the whole AHL in general, because you never know who's going to be going where or what happens. Tommy Cross is a big guy. He grew up about 15 minutes away from me. So any chance we get to watch him or talk about him, Tommy Cross will always be a legend in the Farmington Valley in Connecticut. But no, getting press credentials. There's a new voice of the Wolfpack, Alex Thomas, so he's doing great, and I've been talking to him. But no, they were very generous, and I look forward to being able to offer solid coverage in general, and especially on the show. Thank you guys so much for letting me be a small part of it.
Yeah,
and go Rangers and go Pack.
I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Bob Crawford, is he still with the Wolfpack?
So Bob Crawford is who Alex Thomas replaced. I don't want to say replaced because he left. He'd done it since the inception of it. Yeah. So Alex, they're kind of there's a little bit of a change in personnel, if you want to have it. But Alex is doing fantastic. I got to speak with him at one of the intermissions of the Springfield games. And we're looking forward to just getting excitement about the organization. And I didn't get to talk to you guys about my expense budget yet, but if you want to send me to Jacksonville for some Iceman
you're
coverage.
Breaking up. I'm sorry. You're cutting. Eddie, can you hear? I can't hear him anymore.
I was thinking the month of January, maybe, if you wanted some solid Iceman coverage. That would be the time.
Iceman coverage.
Oh, in January, my ass will be going down to see the Iceman in January. I live in Pennsylvania. Bob Crawford was kind of like a jack of all trades for the Wolfpack. At least years ago, I had when I used to run the blog, I reached out to him. We tried to go do an end run around the Rangers, and he procured he was able to set us up. We did like a Q&A with Bobby Sanguinetti at the time.
Yeah, Bobby Sanguinetti.
I thought that was like the greatest thing. We thought we were in, and that was it. It was going to be nothing but.
He was Corey Potter's defensive partner, I think.
Oh right,
for a while there.
Corey Potter.
And there's one thing that I'm pretty sure you can bring up in New York and bring up in Hartford, and people will both be soured about it, and that's two words: Wade Redden.
Oh,
the worst.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
No, but thank you guys so much for having me on. And
where can they find you on where can they find you on the Twitter and the Facebook? Where can they find you?
So I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's going to be Cody Bondra AHL. I'll be posting throughout the week in the Blueshirt Underground group. I'm loving the back and forth, loving hearing everybody's thoughts on the topics. And like you said, with everything going on, there's really no right or wrong answer. You can back the organization, you can back the player. It's unfortunate that those aren't the same side. I'd like to see them obviously as the same side, but moving forward, we'll see how it plays out. But congratulations, guys, again on the 12th season, over 10,000 streams, and like I said, I'm so honored to be a small part of it. And I'll be talking to you guys soon.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah, we'll definitely do this again. I don't know, Eddie and I'll figure out if we want to do weekly, every other week.
I would.
Nobody else is doing it, so
I have no problem doing this every time.
We'll do it, and then everybody will do it.
Yes,
but you're exclusive to us now.
Well, we got to start.
I am. Yes, my allegiance is to the crown.
Yes.
Yeah, Cody, take care. We don't pay for allegiance here, Eddie. We just demand it.
Oh wow!
There you go.
I'm glad he did a bang up job. Awesome job.
Yes, it was nice to talk
to
you,
you
Cody.
Fellas.
If you're at the games and you have videos or anything you want to post it in our group, go right ahead. We'll come up with some different ways to promote what you're doing. Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much. And like I said, once they relax the media coverage, I hope to get some talk with Coach and some talk with the different players, and be able to have some great content to help grow the team and grow the organization. And I got a lot of people up this way excited for the show. They're watching right now, and they'll be downloading and listening to it later on this week. So thank you guys for what you're doing, because yes, and up here in Hartford County, we don't get MSG, so you are a lifeline. So please keep the content coming, and go Rangers and go Wolfpack.
All right, take care, Cody. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night, my friend.
You too.
Great job,
Cody Bondra with a solid.
No relation to Peter Bondra, right?
No relation to Peter Bondra.
Great job.
A solid debut performance.
Guy got old. He even classed up.
Got all dressed up.
Hey, look. He's putting on. He's going. This is going.
Yeah, it's the first time I wished we were back on Blog Talk where nobody could see what I was wearing.
Oh, come on. He was fantastic. I was very,
Cody
very
says
impressed.
distant cousin of Peter.
You know, it's just refreshing to have somebody, and he was very articulate. I mean, you know, it's like he had been doing this for years.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's very, very comfortable, very relaxed, very, at ease.
Okay. So,
and really, not trying to blow smoke, but we've wanted to do more because you never hear anything about the Wolfpack. You might get like a 3-line update in a column. So and so scored last. Tim Gettinger scored his 9th goal last night, and oh wow, big. But
yeah, but you don't know how he scored it. Where
right. Now we got a guy that we could depend on who's going to give it to us straight.
Right. Yes.
And he's not Mitch Beck.
That's the best thing about it.
Mitch Beck is selling peanuts outside the arena now.
So
good job. Good job.
All right, let's talk a little about the Crafts off. Now, when did Drury say this? Was he the assistant GM? What did he exactly? You have the article?
I have the article.
And here's another thing I'm sorry, and this goes against Sean, who I think is in Nashville, and a couple other people I see post about the Athletic charging money that Rick Carpinello is. What? You don't want people to earn a living? Everything's got to be free on the internet? I don't get it.
Nothing, but 20 years ago, you didn't have any internet. Well, 30 years ago, you didn't have any internet. And the only thing you could do was pay for a subscription to the Hockey News or Hockey Digest, or you bought it in the store.
They're all upset that there's a paywall to read an article.
Let me tell you something about the Athletic, okay? Yeah, it's a paid service, and I got Joe Catroni gave me 2 years ago for Christmas. He gave me a year's subscription to the Athletic. When the subscription ran out, I renewed it, and I was paying $7.99 a month for it. Okay, so if I was buying a newspaper every day, if a newspaper's $1, you're gonna spend $30 on a newspaper or $8 on the Athletic, where I've got better coverage than any of the New York papers. And then I decided I was gonna turn off the Athletic. I was gonna cancel my subscription for a little while. And as soon as I canceled, they offered me a year for $21. So I signed right back up for $21. Right. How can you beat that? For $1.50 a month, and it's not just the Rangers coverage that's good. The Giants coverage is really good. The Mets coverage is okay. It's a little heavy on the analytics for my taste, but whatever. But also the coverage of the leagues themselves is really good. There's always some interesting stuff to read. It's well worth the $8 a month or less. Arthur Staple is going to cover the Rangers and Islanders, but somebody else is going to take over the Rangers beat permanently. I don't know, but I don't know who it's going to be yet. It's going to be Joe Fortunato. This just in. Joe Fortunato taking over at the Athletic.
Well, Nicholas, can't see the last name, Mark Glenajad. The same thing with Brooks. You got to pay for Brooks, but you get totally biased information from Brooks.
Well, the Post has now started a pay subscription. They call it Post Sports Plus or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you got to pay for those articles. It's not their entire sports section, but it's mostly feature stuff. If you want to read it, you got to pay for it. I mean, you can't blame them. The newspaper business is dying. They have to come up with something.
Remember, we used to wait for the paper to come out and go to and pick it up and read the sports. That's dead.
Yeah, I mean, Sundays during football season, I would go get the Post, the News, and the Star Ledger because they had the best Giants coverage.
So
now,
I guess
I couldn't tell you the last time I actually read the newspaper.
It's been
had the paper in my hand, turning pages.
It's got to be 15 years for me.
It's probably close to that.
Probably, maybe more. I don't know.
Nick said, "Good try with the last name."
Oh,
I'm going to say Mark Janage.
Hello,
Jen. Jen has arrived.
Jen. No, you're not late for the party. We
never late. You're always right on time. Better late than pregnant, my dear.
Okay, let's get the Arthur Staple. Let's go,
I forgot
chicken before we were talking about Carpinello retiring and Staple is stepping in. And maybe before we get the Crafts off.
All right.
What are the reasons that Carpinello is stepping by? You told me before the show started what he feels.
I'm sorry. Say that again. I was jumping back and forth on the
Carpinello,
screen
why
here.
he's stepping aside?
One of the reasons he gave was that COVID has changed things for him because there's no personal relationships with the players, which is, I mean, that's how he made his living. If you ever heard him on the show, he had stories about Pierre LaRouche always bumming cigarettes off of him. He had Messier stories. I mean, there's pictures of him with the cup in '94. He had very close relationships with the players. I don't want to say he was friends with them because the man had a job to do, but he did have good professional relations with them. So, I think it's taken its toll. Now he has to do everything based on what he sees in a Zoom meeting or a Skype call or everything else. So to him, it's just not, it's not what he wants to do anymore. And he's got to be, I'm guessing he's around 70. Guy's been around for 40 years, right? So he's got to be in the neighborhood of 70-ish. So,
and didn't he mention that he's never interviewed Alexis Lafreniere?
He said he's yet to have a conversation with Alexis Lafreniere and hasn't talked to Chris Kreider since Kreider signed his new contract.
So, and the way it's going now, the access that these guys are getting are not as much as some others, like Larry Brooks, who is in with Drury, and Drury is just feeding him the corporate line, and that's what's being printed. All right, so let's go on to Arthur Staple, who's going to be handling the Rangers analysis. They find a replacement for Carp, and his story on the Kravtsov situation.
I'm not going to give you the whole article. I'm just scanning for snippets.
Oh, I want the whole article. No, I'm like,
you don't really want me to read this whole.
I'm only
do a fireside chat.
Yeah.
According to multiple league sources, the friction between Kravtsov and Chris Drury dates back to October of 2019. Kravtsov didn't make the Rangers out of camp as a 19-year-old and didn't enjoy his first stay in AHL Hartford. He exercised the out clause in his contract to the KHL, where he played the prior 2 seasons. Sources say that when Kravtsov went to retrieve his gear and say his goodbyes to Wolfpack teammates and staff, Drury told Kravtsov that he'd quit on the team. Kravtsov would ultimately return to the organization and to Hartford less than 2 months after a mediocre KHL stint. He joined the Rangers in the Toronto bubble for the team's brief 2020 playoff appearance, and there was, again, according to multiple sources, an incident between Kravtsov and Drury in which the young forward was dressed down by the then assistant GM for not working hard enough. That happened on the ice in full view of teammates. Kravtsov also missed the bus from the team hotel to the rink one day in the Toronto bubble, which led to further frustration in the organization, according to multiple sources. There was a contentious exit meeting last spring between Drury and Kravtsov, with sources indicating that Drury and the Rangers were concerned about Kravtsov's conditioning. The player was ready to head back to Russia and wasn't willing to listen. So again, there is blame on both sides. We've got an immature kid and a spiteful GM who's got a hard-on for this kid. Why is the assistant GM talking to players? Your administration, go upstairs and sit in your fucking office and leave the players alone. If I was the coach, I would have kicked his ass. Stay the fuck away from my players.
I agree with you. And I'm not going to, listen, Kravtsov should have done the right thing. He should have went down. But you cannot convince me this is the fault of a spoiled kid who is making $700,000 a year. Each player is different in their makeup.
Right.
This is a kid who comes from a rural part of Russia, and they need to be coddled a little bit. You got to bring them along a lot more, some more than others. And Drury, to me, he should talk about quitting. He's the one who said, don't worry, my Christmas is going to be affected by this loss as a player.
Right.
So I'm supposed to. You're exactly right. He had it out for him, and unfortunately, Kravtsov took the bait and just he made things worse for himself. He should have just went down to Harvard. And also, just one other thing. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Nope. Go ahead, and then I'll give you the.
I don't know. We don't know what assurances were made to him by the previous administration. We didn't know, like maybe Davidson and Gordon said, "Listen, next year you're going to be on the squad. You're going to be playing. Barring anything that wacky happens, you're going to be on the big club." We don't know what was said then and what assurances he got. But the kid's absolutely he's getting bad advice. This is his second agent. I wish they would just forgive each other and just get him back in the fold, because I think he's a valuable player, and I think he's going to be a really good, solid NHL player.
I hope he scores 75 goals wherever he goes.
Well, you're right. Drury's a spiteful, and I said it when I was speaking to Cody. If he was from BU, there wouldn't be this conversation. There's something systematically going on with the Rangers and these European players. I don't know what it is. They fired their European scout last year, at the beginning of this year or whenever this regime change. One of the first things they did. I don't know. So we've talked ad nauseum about Kravtsov, but that's where I am. I think it's a 50-50 thing. And if you don't think Drury is a dick, this is a guy, I consider him a backstabber. I have no respect for this guy at this moment. Not that that means anything.
Right. I said this to Eddie earlier today. The one thing that's consistent with this organization is they always get exactly what they deserve.
That's right.
They really do. They get exactly what they deserve. Chris, and well documented. I am well on record. I got Chris Drury is my least favorite Ranger of all time. And him becoming GM of this team was an absolute gut punch to me, and he has done absolutely nothing to change my mind from the minute he stole this job.
Wow.
I don't trust him. I don't believe him, and I don't like him. And Staple makes another good point here. Drury, just months into the top job, may have to reconsider his feelings too. Coupled with the Elias Anderson fiasco, one that played out similarly to Kravtsov's situation and also involved Drury's time as Hartford GM. The Rangers are about to lose a second top 10 pick from the last 5 years for peanuts.
It's echoing what Steven is saying in the chat room. I mean, it's
Chris Drury.
Okay, so let's put a pin in that. We'll stay tuned to that soap opera, the drama that's unfolding, and let's talk about some of the players. Now, me and you already were going duking out over Keandre Miller so far.
Stinks.
I don't see it.
Stinks.
Solid.
Stinks.
He'll make a mistake, but he will actually he'll come back with a good play. I think him and Trouba have been much better than last year so far. If the four game evals, I think Trouba's played excellent. He's playing up to his salary right now. I mean, 4 games in. So what do you see? So
hold on, I got to mention Chris. I'm sorry if I get your last name wrong. Gavalis. Chris is the gentleman who commented on the Instagram post that Jen made that he loves the show. Chris, I was telling Eddie about you before the show.
Excellent.
Chris with that is a rock star profile pic right there.
Yeah. Badass, as we say.
Zach Jones was much better than Keandre Miller in
but
preseason.
I don't care about preseason.
But so what did Keandre Miller do to deserve to be here over Zach Jones?
He has a year of NHL experience.
Oh, who cares? Cares?
Really?
He stinks. He stinks.
No.
He stinks. And Barclay Goodrow's got 2 cups.
Yeah. 2 cups.
I know,
no goals.
and I figured out why Chris Drury wanted Barclay Goodrow so bad. He's just like Chris Drury. Takes bad penalties. He won a cup somewhere else, and he doesn't score. He's just like Chris Drury.
2 cups, no goals.
2 cups, no goals.
He's Adam Graves, though.
And Chris Drury. Oh, he's so brilliant. He brought in Pierre Resico. Was it how do you say his name? Resico to help with the faceoffs. I hope his check hasn't cleared. I'd stop fucking payment on it. 4 for 19 on faceoffs at one point last night. NYR Mark agrees with me. He's overrated.
How can he be overrated? He's only in a year in the league. 60
Stinks.
games.
Stinks.
Stop. You're trying to get my emotions.
I'm not impressed.
You
with
really
him.
think he stinks?
I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's that good. I think he needs work. I think he should be in Hartford. Zach Jones is better than he is. I'm sorry, but he is. I'm not apologizing. Fuck that. I'm not apologizing.
Don't apologize.
I'm not apologizing.
I don't think
Zach Jones is better. Zach Jones should have been here.
Zach Jones is better.
He is.
The preseason. That's all you've seen.
Right now, he was better last year too in the 5, 6, 10 games, whatever it was.
We were watching
a cup
those
of coffee.
games.
I had the ISO on Zach Jones, buddy.
I disagree. Okay, so that's fine. It's good when we disagree because usually we agree, and this gives the show a little more heat.
Bring Zach Jones up, put him on this defense with Fox and Lundqvist. We wouldn't even need forwards.
I don't need that midget Zach Jones. We need big, 6'5", clearing that crease.
Yes, we need Dominique Wilkins back there on defense. we need height. We need
while we're talking about the defense, let me tell you who I like. I think Trouba's played very well.
Chris Deneed agrees with me. Zach Jones deserves the spot.
Stop. I thought Keandre Miller had a terrible preseason. All right, now I
love it.
You guys are just trying to. Michael Del Zippo, really?
Keandre Del Zotto. That's his new name.
Steve, you threw down the gauntlet with that one.
That's his new name.
From any of my knowledge, I don't think he's has talking to any porn stars like Del Zotto.
Keandre Sanguinetti.
So, okay. I think Trouba's playing well. Adam Fox is a god.
Yeah.
He's really just, he's
the best player on the team.
By leaps and bounds.
How'd you like to be his agent?
Oh, boy.
Right? See what Charlie McAvoy just got?
You know why I care about size? Because I need that net cleared. We already got your Niels Lundqvist in there, Steve. He isn't the biggest guy in the world either.
Size schmize.
But he's playing with Joe Willie Patrick Nemeth, who is
Dryden Hunt.
No, don't talk about Dryden Hunt. That's not even a real name. Here we go. I have to say that Patrick Nemeth has played really well. I am solid as a rock. Who, Ashford and Simpson, and they did that song? Why are they calling you a racist?
Because I'm saying Keandre Miller is that good.
Okay.
Look, I've said plenty of white guys suck on this broadcast.
I'm not going to argue with the chat room tonight, guys.
You already have.
I know. But me and Stat Boy Steven are going at it in the chat room. I can't reply to everything. Miller doesn't use his size. What? The verdict is in?
The evals are in. Keandre Miller.
I know he uses his stick to get out of a lot of jams. What about that when he broke up that 2-on-1 the other night? Were you saying he stunk then?
He made a nice play.
All right.
He's not that. I'm just saying he's not that good.
That play?
Oh, Zach Jones would have made it twice and then scored.
Okay. I get it. You're all against me. I'm a paranoid schizophrenic when it comes to the Rangers.
I'm only paranoid because everybody's against me. I just don't think Keandre Miller's that good.
Okay, all right. Well, again, let's see it play out. Let's see if Zach Jones gets called up in his stead. But let's get back to Adam Fox.
If Zach Jones gets called up, every mistake he makes, and he's
Yeah.
going to be
He'll be under the microscope.
all you fucking Zach Jones fans, how do you feel now? Eddie will be here for you.
I ain't got to root against no Rangers. But if I see something, I'm going to say something. That's my mantra.
See something, say something?
Yes. Fox, I put him in the category of McDonough and Leach. Different players, more like Leach than McDonough, but in that elite category.
He's the best player on the team.
And if he was Russian, he would be in the cage.
Oh, if he was Russian, they would have. He'd be in Jacksonville.
He would have been dressed down. Anyway, Ryan Lindgren's been pretty solid, right?
I think he's struggling with the new defensive system a little bit.
There's a system?
Yeah, they're playing more man-on-man in the defensive zone. And I think he's struggling a little bit.
He does. I will concur with that. Trouba? Are we getting? They want to whip him.
They hate Trouba.
They want to hang him on the cross.
These
pedestrian Ranger fans, they see the money. It drives them nuts.
They just can't wait for this guy to make the slightest mistake in a game so they can pounce.
They blame him. They blamed him for the Giant loss the other night.
Well, he didn't do anything in that game.
He can't block.
Chris nails it right here. Igor is the system. Well, yeah, I said that last night. This was like a throwback. This was old school Ranger hockey last night. No power play, can't win faceoffs, no shots, and the goaltender is under siege.
Yes. All right. Well, let's go to the forwards. Let's talk about Ryan Reeves. Let's talk about Ryan Reeves, baby. I think Ryan Reeves has been fine. Other than that first game, he's hitting everybody. What, you're shaking your head? We're going to disagree again?
No, I'm not disagreeing at all.
All right. He's drawing penalties. I don't know what's not to like about Ryan Reeves. Unless you just...
I really look forward to those 6 minutes a game he's playing.
But, I mean, again, we got to get over the ridiculousness of how it happened in the offseason. I'm just watching. Patty Duke. Wow. So you've got... I think Reeves has been fine. Other than that first game, I got no problem with. I'll tell you who's won me over. Sammy Blay.
Sammy Blay. I'll tell you what.
Please forgive me.
Jen nailed it. She was we were watching I think it was the Montreal game or might have been the Dallas game. She goes, he is just a fucking wrecking ball. And that's exactly what he is.
He's hurling himself he's hitting at every opportunity.
He's not a big guy. He's only like 5'10", 5'11", but when he hits, it looks like it hurts.
Yeah, we couldn't say anything bad about Reeves because if we went after two black guys, then we would be racist.
Right.
And now I still think they could have got Sammy Blay a little bit cheaper than for Pavel Buchnevich, but I know the contract, whatever.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
I've moved on. I've embraced the Blay. I've embraced the Blay.
It's a brand new Blay in Rangerland.
He's much better than Barclay Goodrow, who I heard was supposed to be Adam Graves from
2 cups, Joe.
2 cups. I mean, it's early. I like Barclay against the on the penalty kill. He's the only guy who will win a face-off once a century. But Blay, I don't know if he's going to be able to last the whole season because this guy is just hitting
missed the game.
I know.
He missed the Dallas game, right?
He's hitting everything. And this is a guy that I railroaded in the offseason, mostly because I was butthurt about Buchnevich. Right. But again, Buchnevich, he wasn't from BU. He was one of those Russians. You know how that happens. See, I don't embrace conspiracy theories normally, but I do believe there is something going on with the Rangers.
Keandre Miller's from PU.
Ah, come on. Can't believe you turned on that.
Stinks. I'm gonna just goad you all year about Keandre Miller.
No, please, come on. My heart can't take it. Between yelling at the TV. And
by the way, we should mention before we get into it, we still got to talk about the Toronto game. Toronto. November 20th, kids. It's a month away from tomorrow. The Blueshirt Underground will be back at Slattery's. Oh, you're coming back, are you? Back at Slattery's for a viewing party. It's going to be huge. Rangers taking on the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa. Saturday, November 20th. That is a 1 p.m. game. So we will converge 12-ish, 12:30. Matt Morello among the luminaries that have promised to be there. I believe Cody said he is coming from Hartford.
Well, that would be great.
Darwin Bushman is flying in from the Philippines. Cutter is going to sneak over the border.
Well, speaking of which,
protocol.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
Cutter, I'm going to extend this to you. Is he in the chat room at this point?
Yes, he was a minute ago.
Well, I whether you're here or not, Josh Gimbel messaged me, and he said to be more than happy to drive you down to the viewing party if you would like. I promise. Everybody loves you. Nobody's going to beat you up, except maybe Matt. But other than that, no. It's a friendly environment. If you want to come down, I would love to see you and shake your hand in person. Are you COVID tested over there? I don't know what they do in Canada.
Can you leave Canada yet? I don't even know.
You can't do. I don't know. You can't do anything.
I'll send them. I'll send them gas money if the two of them are going to road trip down here. Look, an emphatic no.
All right, Johnny U has just taken the next level, going back to a 19. This is a 1976 reference to Bjorn Saming. Bjorn Saming. Who is that?
I know. I thought maybe you knew who it was.
No, that's a Bjorn Saming. Borge Saming. However you pronounce it. That was said by the late great Harold Ballard about him, and now he's picking the Keandre Miller. How dare you, sir?
That's
How
fantastic.
Dare you? He's got to be an old timer to come up with that one. So what were we talking about? We saw Cutter play. Cutter. So Cutter, you got an open invite.
Cutter won't come. Look, this was his answer. He said, "No."
All right, we tried. That's it. I'm not gonna sweat. I'm not gonna give you any more airtime, any more on the subject.
Would have bought you a rutabaga beer.
You would have rhubarb and all whatever he drinks.
Right.
Okay. I wish the Rangers could move Filipino. How do you guys feel about Filipino? I feel like the Rangers, if they could move him for a guy who has experience and could win face-offs, right now they can't because Strom's out with the COVID. But if they get, I would take a third-line guy who's got some experience, not too old, not too young, that can win face-offs. Now, I know Hedel is still young, but I'm just not seeing the progress.
I'm not either, but he's not going anywhere yet. So
they say
I keep hoping. He shows flashes, and you keep hoping that he's going to just turn a corner at some point. But I'm waiting for all three of these high-end rookies to turn a corner. Somebody's got to pan out. This team's had 28 first-round draft picks in the last 4 seasons. Something's got to give here.
Yes, I agree.
The only young player they have on a definite path to superstardom right now is Adam Fox, who was a trade. He was a third-round pick.
We didn't even draft him.
Right. We'd have drafted him. He'd be in Jacksonville.
So you have that. But I think it really boiled. I don't mind the fourth line. I mean, I don't mind the fourth line, but it's exactly as we predicted. If that top two lines don't score, it's over. And Panarin got off to a slow start. He got the overtime goal. He got an overtime goal
last night.
Last night. You know, all is forgiven. We know he's going to be good, but now with Strome out, it's going to be tough. And Kakko, who had big expectations for, he's out now.
Right.
And really, I mean, we'll get to more players in other shows because I'm really kind of exhausted talking about every fucking player.
Well, we got to talk about last night's game, though.
All right, okay, let's do it.
Last night's game was absolutely one of the worst 60 minutes of hockey I have ever seen the Rangers play. And I mean, we're talking 45 years of watching hockey. That was just awful. I think they had 19 shots on goal in regulation or something, followed by some of the most heart-stopping, all hell broke loose a minute in and had overtime last night. Toronto won, if I remember correctly, Toronto won the faceoff, and I went back and watched the overtime again this morning with Jen because she didn't get to see it last night. Toronto won the faceoff, and then, of course, they were trying to play keep away, which is all everybody does now. Toronto was able to play keep away. They moved into the Rangers zone, and then the Rangers got the puck, and after that, all hell just broke loose. You had Shesterkin making saves, channeling his inner Eddie Jockerman, making saves 20 feet out of the net in the circle, making saves. Trouba saves the game.
The Islanders. Sorry, I was asking Johnny Yu. He was saying, who's last in the Metro? The Islanders are.
The Islanders. Couldn't happen overnight. Joe Catroni was at the game the other night when they got their asses handed to them by Florida. Anywho.
That's what I always say. I'm glad you're saying that.
Who's in last place, Eddie?
The Islanders. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, you had Trouba making a big save, and I think what he did was he got a hold of whoever had the puck there in the crease, got a hold of their stick, and the puck never got in the net. And then the Rangers finally decide to win a faceoff, and then look what happens. Panarin scores the goal. Rangers win.
Shesterkin played out of his mind.
Out of his mind. Terrific game.
And all of Canada got to see that. That was his best game. And it's the first time in a long while that a Ranger goalie won a game for them outright. That was Lundqvist-like what he did. He saved their bacon time after time after. Fucking Austin Matthews coming back from a wrist injury. He had like 8 shots on net.
Right.
I mean,
and of course, he's just coming back from an injury. It's his first game of the season. He needs 1 goal for 200. I mean, the stage was set for a guaranteed Austin Matthews goal, and somehow they managed to hold him off. The TikTok Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ugh. That's another fucking abomination. And you know what else is another abomination that was getting a lot of talk in Ranger world? How bad is that Austin Matthews mustache? That porn stash from the 70s. It is terrible.
I say this with a staunch record of heterosexuality, is because George Costanza would say, he's not a good-looking guy.
Without the mustache?
Without the mustache, he's just not a good-looking guy. I don't know. There's something, he's not like your hockey, like your stud, your young guy that comes up and all the women just love him.
Who do you consider a stud on the Rangers? Who would you date if you were not hetero?
If I drifted that way?
Yeah, if you dipped your toe in the man pond.
If I dipped my toe in the man pond. I don't know. They got rid of all the good looking young guys, like Tony D'Angelo. He was a good looking guy. Lemieux was a good looking guy, right?
Now, see,
Adam Fox has got that big jaw.
no, he looks like fucking Dudley Do-Right or the Canadian Mountie or something with that chin. Great player. I don't care.
Great player.
I don't really know on the Rangers.
If I was gonna dip my toe in the man, I'll be thinking about that one all night long. If I was gonna dip my toe in the man pond.
I couldn't take Kreider because of that face. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I found a lot of women on the my Ranger friends who are women that found that mustache very disconcerting.
Hello, Frisco.
All right, enough with the fashion. Come on. Well, anywho,
this should just about wrap it up for Cody Bondra with the Wolfpack, right?
no, listen, we won't go any further. We don't care. What do we care? Cody Bondra is he's a class act, so that'll diffuse all on that. Yeah, right. I don't like that. Plus his name too, Austin with an O. That's a little pretentious as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, meanwhile, he's gonna be the Rocket Richard winner, and I'm talking about his looks.
Right.
Yes, that was Shesty. That was the Czar. It was all, and I was glad because I like when the Rangers go to Canada and beat up on some Canadian teams. I like Canadian people. I love the Canadian way of life, but all teams must fall to the New York Rangers.
We love your beer.
Yes. But
as far as your hockey teams go,
you're all snobs up there with your
Gots,
which is sport that you created or semi-created, made famous. Let's put it that way. So, anybody else you want to talk about, Jim? How about Zibanejad?
I did make a few notes last night just because.
Oh, okay.
Just because I forgot to, I tend to forget things, and then we get on the air and I forget them.
Be like me.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is that I've noticed in terms of style, Gerard Gallant is a lot closer to AV than he is David Quinn. Have you noticed that though?
Yes, he is.
Not a lot of interaction with the team.
He doesn't talk.
Doesn't go in the locker room. I'm trying to figure out exactly what he does. I'm trying to figure. I mean, he's the head coach, but I'm really not sure what he's doing yet because they have no system. They have no. There's no system in place here. He's not calling out the lines. He's not talking to the players during the timeouts or during the breaks. He says he doesn't go in the locker room, so I'm just kind of wondering what's he? Is he CEO of Ranger Corp or what? I don't know.
I know most of the talk he's done. What that detective Mike Kelly or whatever that guy's name is. He looks like a detective.
Looks like he's going to drop dead.
Yeah, that guy, not impressive. But he's the one who does it. Talk. There's no communication.
And I think
is that his name, Mike?
Mike O'Neill, isn't it? Mike, something like that, isn't it?
I don't know. Somebody.
Gord Murphy is the one who does most of the talking.
Yes.
And even Sam said it during the broadcast the other night that the guy doing all the yelling behind the bench at the players while they're on the ice is Gord Murphy. So what's Rickles doing?
I don't know what Rickles is doing.
Rickles helps you do it better.
Yeah, he's like,
what's he doing?
He likes to play that mystery with the goalie, and I'm not telling you that tongue-in-cheek thing.
Chris, you got to come in the chat room more often, man. You're hitting the points.
You're hitting on all cylinders. I don't know. So okay. More about your notes.
That was really the only other thing I had. I managed to get in my other little mentions. It was mostly just kind of like bullet points, things that I thought of, observations, if you will.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I was just and I wanted to comment on the Gallant thing because I noticed it. I kind of noticed it as the games are going on here. Meatloaf, Buzzcut Meatloaf. God, I love our chat room. I've just noticed that he just paces. He doesn't talk to anybody. And it's even worse when they're playing these games in Canada because the coaches got to wear masks behind the bench, and he's just back and forth with the mask. Not talking to the team. There's no
Well, I guess that's a player's coach. You just let the players play.
What do you need him for?
I
What's he
don't know.
doing? I mean, what decisions does he make?
I
Pre-game
don't
meal?
know.
I don't know. What is it? What time did he go to the keg?
I don't know. At this point, it's unknown. We'll find out as the season unfolds.
I guess.
Yeah, Rosasco. He got fired too. I think he was cleansed. Isn't he with the Maple Leafs?
Boss. He got some job in Toronto, apparently. I don't know if it's with the Maple Leafs or with the league or what. They actually exported that little fucking shit weasel.
Yes.
I hope they found the kiddie porn in his computer as he was going across the border.
Probably had some shit on Drury.
I want to hear the story. He got me in trouble. He emailed my boss. I want to know.
Oh yeah, what you investigating?
I want to know that story.
Investigative reports.
Right. I put my Milton Lewis glasses on.
Well, why he?
There's a name from the past.
I saw him on a train and he recognized me, but I just got off at the next stop. I don't know what's going on.
I want to hear that story, though.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about one thing.
Okay.
It's a quick little thorn in my side. Julian Gauthier. The goal scorer who doesn't score. That's my nickname for him.
The goal scorer who doesn't score.
Why? I know they got some injuries now. I just don't see it. I've seen enough, Jim. I've come to the mountaintop. I've seen enough. And that's all I got.
You've seen enough.
I've seen enough.
So Chris said he was interning at a school and he emailed the athletic director at the school.
That you saw him on the train?
Interesting. Interesting. No, I just nobody else called in tonight, so
no.
We still take live calls. We took Cody's call.
Yeah, he was on for a half hour. What do you want there, Paul?
Right.
Jeez, Paul. I started off getting aggravated. I don't want to end up aggravated. Well, I know you're a friend of, fan of Coasters, but Coasters,
so Chris, he complained to your athletic director that you were calling him names on my Twitter. Oh, I got to hear this story. We're gonna block 2 hours next week for Chris.
Yes, we're gonna have a whole segment dedicated to you, Chris.
All right.
Okay, well
we've said it all.
Yeah, we've said it all. I'm running out of gas. I mean,
we've covered it all. We've talked about the good-looking Rangers, the ugly Rangers, the viewing party, the Wolf Pack.
I mean,
Filipino.
I'm happy with the points. I mean, I'm happy. Although they really haven't played well. That's the bottom line. Is they haven't played well. But they won some games they shouldn't have had, which is a good sign because they never really did that under Quinn. There was one thing, yeah, and that's about it. I mean, you're really not going to get 2 hours, no commercials,
right,
of us talking Rangers hockey. You're going to find it nowhere. No one is going to talk like us. No one is going to engage and have the greatest commenters in the history of Rangers hockey in our chat room, making jokes, making us laugh, us making them laugh. You're going to find it nowhere.
Right. Nobody else has 2 hours of just ball busting fun.
This is 4 games. You got 2 hours.
Right.
And did we bog you down with some stupid stats?
No charts.
No charts. We come in, I'm dressed like a schlub. Cody Bodger comes in here and look like $1 million.
Right.
So, subscribe to that Patreon, you bastards. So, and
where else are you getting Peter Bondra's cousin?
Yeah. Jim's taking notes over here. This is a professional show run by 2 of the most unprofessional people when it comes to Rangers hockey there is.
Next week, Dave Farish's grandmother's cousin's roommate.
Yes, Ruby Farish will be with us.
Ruby Farish.
Right, no heat maps, Patty Duke, too. Remember those things? All right, well, that's all I got, Jim. And I ain't Scott's no more. And my video didn't go out during the show.
Right. Yes, a plus. All right, guys. We will see you probably, I would say, probably next Tuesday. Got a game Thursday. We got a game Saturday. We got to get, no, not Tuesday. I'm unavailable next Tuesday.
Okay.
Wednesday. Wednesday, if that's
Wednesday
okay.
is Prince Spaghetti Day.
Prince Spaghetti Day. And yes, no gambling commercials, but if they wanted to pay us, we might consider it.
Yeah, really. You
All
guys
right.
were fantastic. Everybody in that chat room fucking killed it today. And you were top notch, top drawer, as they say in the old days. Magnificent.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I know. I know, Jen. I said it. We'll do it Wednesday. All right. We love you guys. Take care. Be good. Let's go, Rangers. Good night, everybody.
Rangers.
Hey, guys.